Welcome to the Global Trade Forum, a knowledge sharing and cooperation platform of global thought leaders. We are excited to announce that we are currently starting an interview series with prominent figures in the global trade industry. As a highly respected and influential figure in the industry, we believe that today's guest, senior defense executive and one of the founding members of the GDF, Mr. Mevlütoğlu's insights and expertise would be invaluable to our audience as the first guest of the series. Today's interview focuses on Turkish defense sector solely, but we will have other interviews that discuss various sectors in the upcoming programs. So if you ask, what is the mission of the GDF? The GDF serves as an industrial think tank that brings members together from all around the world, including big corporations, technology companies, aviation and aerospace industry, and startups as well. So if you ask what is the purpose of the GTF, the main purpose of the forum is to create opportunities for networking, meetups, webinars, industrial recognition, visibility, and business opportunities. Through this platform, the GDF aims to build global exposure for the Turkish market and make it more fertile for the next industrial revolution. As the founding member of the forum, I would like to introduce myself as well. I am Arda. I have been working as a think tanker for 4 years, mainly focusing on energy security and international security in line with Turkish foreign policy, where I am also serving as the off-counsel of Istanbul-based law company Arda Mevlütoğlu in the same week. And today, I would like to thank and introduce Mr. Mevlütoğlu for accepting our invitation. Mr. Mevlütoğlu works in the aerospace and defense sector as an executive with 20 years of professional experience. He demonstrated track records of successfully undertaking responsibilities in complex multinational aerospace and defense modeling, simulation, and social projects. He is also a strong advocate for merging multidisciplinary business and academic practices. And I want to start with my first question, if you may, dear Arda. Mr. Mevlütoğlu, you have been in the defense sector and aerospace industry for the past 2 decades. What inspired you to pursue your career path, and how did you get started in it?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm more than glad and excited to be part of the GTF. And I hope this is the start of very productive and fruitful discussions and occasions that GTF may contribute to the defense, aerospace, and other trade sectors as well in both Turkey and in the international domain. So thank you for the question. And in fact, it doesn't have a short answer, but I can summarize like I have always been interested in military matters, politics, security issues from my early teen maybe years, I can say that. And my interests made me or shaped my preferences for academics, for my university path, academic paths, and then my career path. I have always been more interested in aerospace technologies, especially aviation industry, military history, military aspects of it, historical aspect of it, and also technological aspect of it. And as a result, it was no surprise for both myself, my family, and my inner circle, let's say, for me to choose astronautical engineering for university studies. I attended Istanbul Technical University, astronautical engineering, and graduated with second place of class in 2003. And during my university years, I developed a keen interest in learning more about complex systems, on how they operate, on how they are developed, and therefore I started my graduate studies in system dynamics and automatic control, again in the same university. I studied fuzzy logic, neural networks, and started my thesis work on the development of guidance algorithm for an air-to-ground missile. At the same time, during my thesis studies, I started my professional career in 2004, which is a very important year for Turkish defense industry, which I will mention later. In 2004, I started as a simulation engineer at Infotron, an Istanbul-based 3D technology company. And later on, the modeling and simulation department of Infotron had become Kaletron, a joint venture between Infotron and Kale Holding. And therefore, I was transferred to Kaletron as simulation and later on systems engineer. As a systems engineer within Kaletron, I participated in a number of military and commercial modeling and simulation projects, including a submarine tactical simulator, several different types of flight simulators, especially for helicopters, several entertainment simulators, and also wargaming and tactical simulation applications for both Turkish armed forces and also other armed forces of the Gulf region. And there had been a large number of different types of defense and commercial projects that I had participated in, and that helped me in that experience enabled me to develop a multidisciplinary approach. I had become something more of an astronautical engineer, but as the saying goes, jack of all spades, master of some. I started developing my career path later on to become an advocate of multidisciplinary approach, as you mentioned in the introduction. In 2013, I started as a senior consultant within STM, Savunma Teknolojileri Mühendislik, a company owned, an engineering and consultancy company owned by Undersecretariat of Defense Industries. And as senior consultant, I took part in several space and aviation projects run by SSM, particularly the BKZS project, the development program for a national navigation and positioning satellite system. I did feasibility studies for the national GPS project, if we name so. And also I participated in different feasibility and consultancy programs for SSM, including unmanned aircraft programs, particularly ANCA Block B and ANCA S programs, and a regional airliner program. And in 2015, I started working as Vice President Defense of the company named ODC, Overseas Development Corporation, an United States-based company which was owned by a Turkish gentleman, Mr. Atilla Türkan, who passed away in 2019. And since 2020, I've been working as the General Manager of Defense Programs at FEV Havacılık Teknolojileri, the successor of ODC in Ankara. So just a name change. And while pursuing going on my professional career, I also resumed or restarted my academic career as well. In 2015, I received my master's degree from Middle East Technical University, Science and Technology Policy Studies. And in 2022, I received my second master's degrees, again from Middle East Technical University in International Relations. My academic field of research concentrates on international security, defense industry policies, and defense technologies. So I'm trying to run both career paths at the same time, interacting with each other. All in all, it has been a career so far that's been shaped by Turkey's defense industry, Turkey's international relations, and also my personal endeavor, which has evolved around my curiosities and my quest on getting new answers, which in turn produce even more questions.
Mr. Mevlütoğlu, you have a depth technical background and also an academic practices as well, thanks to your various studies through Middle East Technical University, Istanbul Technical University. Here I would like to point out the aspect of military defense industry aspect of international media. You know, there are various sources in Turkish and international media that sometimes causes false information. It could sometimes due to technicality of the issue or for just disinformation purposes. As a senior defense executive, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the Turkish defense sector?
Easy to start with, to keeping up with the latest development in defense and security issues, technical and technological aspects of it, political and geopolitical aspects of it. Keeping up with the latest developments of defense and security has never been easy because the first thing that comes to my mind, it's technology oriented, let's say, issue of the case of F-35 or S-400 or a missile defense system. They are all heavily technical issues. A decision, a development, or a debate about these systems and projects require in-depth knowledge or background technological aspects, such as the capabilities of a particular system, such as the engineering challenges of acquiring or not acquiring a particular system, or a decision to develop and manufacture of a system, or forming international partnerships. All of these are both industrial and technological issues as well as political ones. So if one develops a career, whether academic or a professional career in defense and aerospace industry, one needs to develop a multidisciplinary approach to understand those issues, regardless of alma mater or regardless of background, whether an engineer or a social scientist or an economics student, it doesn't particularly matter. What matters is to develop a multidisciplinary approach. That being said, personally, I try to follow as many sources as possible to keep pace in developments in my fields of research. For example, I am particularly interested in the developments in Turkey's near periphery, including Russian Federation, all the way to Middle East, Eastern Mediterranean, and Europe. And additionally, I'm trying to keep I try to keep up to date with the latest developments in aerospace technologies, aviation and space, missile technologies, and drone technologies. Though these are my primary topics within defense industry to try to stay up to date. There are a large number of news or academic sources that I will not mention name by name here, but social media, several applications, news organizing or feed applications, they help me a lot in at least trying to get all the headlines in one place and to keep track of the latest news. But again, it has becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between a quality content and those that are misleading, to say the least. In order to compensate that risk of being manipulated or being out of the pace, I try to follow as many different types or sources of information to double check or triple check. But then again, in the age of post-truth, in the age of advanced AI, artificial intelligence technologies, that also has become increasingly difficult as an individual.
Mr. Mevlütoğlu, within a multidisciplinary approach serving as a defense executive, what are the main parameters that determine the defense company's positioning within the sector?
We are going through times that manifest the victory, to say, of realism, hardcore realism. And an increasing number of states feel themselves threatened from multiple threats or risks, both from external threats and also internal threats. Turkey is no exception. So defense industry, international domain, as well as Turkish defense industry has been compelled to reposition itself in order to adapt to new challenges. In addition to interstate conflicts and regional security issues, threats posed by extremism and terrorism has multiplied by the past few years, if not decades. New types and forms of terrorism have emerged, such as franchising of terrorism, or lone wolf attacks, or cyber terrorism. In addition to that, as we had seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, there are also non-state or non-terrorism threats that pose high risk to national security.
As like hybrid threats.
Disasters, exactly. Disasters, pandemics, or other environmental challenges also have become major sources of concern. Therefore, the national defense sector, as well as, again, Turkish defense sector, have been challenged by these multitude of threats, both in number and also in nature. So for the past 10 or 15 years, I think we've been witnessing a major transformation of defense and aerospace technologies. Another significant factor that's been shaping this transformation is the nature of developments in technology. During the 20th century, especially during the Cold War, the main resource of technological advances had been military research or military requirements. All technologies that we've been using nowadays for the past several decades, such as internet, such as GPS, smartphones, or computers, they all are products of military requirements and military R&D. But for the past at least 2 decades, or maybe past 3 decades, the direction of that technological flow reversed. Civilian or commercial research have become the main source of technological advances. The SpaceX is one of the nice examples to this trend, to this shift in paradigm. So defense industries more and more have been receiving inputs from commercial or civilian technological research. Another factor, another important trend to observe is that advanced defense technologies, advanced military applications are no longer within they are not coming only from superpowers or technologically advanced states, such as United States, Russian Federation, UK, France. Those developed states are not the only resources of advanced defense technologies, products, or solutions. Developing states have become also prominent and capable in developing, manufacturing, and providing advanced capable products, solutions, and doctrines in the defense realm. Turkey is one of the good examples to this trend with its successes in the drone sector. Turkish drones have been active in a number of conflicts and operations for the past 5 years. They've been extremely successful, and also Turkey has become one of the leading exporters of drones and drone-related technologies. And Turkey is not only exporting drones, but also drone-centered doctrines, solutions, or tactics to a large number of countries. As far as I know, there are more than 30 countries that operate or about to acquire the Turkish drones. This is a remarkable feat. So all in all, for the past 2 to 3 decades, we've been witnessing a radical shift in defense and security area, and defense and security technologies has been shaping all the geopolitical developments for the past years, and Turkey is no exception to this.
So you have pointed out the geopolitics. Therefore, I would like to ask a geopolitical question. As a geopolitical question, how do you assess the Turkish-Greek air power balance in the Aegean in line with the current offensive air power structure of both countries? And in this context, should the air power debate be based on the first strike, second strike capability, or the ammunition that they have in their equipment?
This is one of the issues that I think probably shaped Turkish strategic thinking for the years to come. For the past few years, Greece has been allocating significant resources in upgrading its air force as well as its navy. Greece currently is running an upgrade project with the United States to modernize its fleet of 84 F-16s to F-16V Viper level. In addition to that, Greece is also acquiring Rafale fighters from France and develop an advanced combat aircraft, and also Greece is planning to acquire 1 or 2 squadrons of F-35s in the latter half of this decade from the United States. In addition to that, Greece is running a project to modernize its pilot training system with Israel. Israel is upgrading Greece advanced pilot training facilities, as well as providing advanced training jets. And also Greece has been acquiring modern guided weapon systems, drones, and also reconnaissance helicopters from both, again, United States and Israel. As a result, Greece has been spending significant efforts in achieving qualitative air superiority in this part of the world, and that is a major challenge for Turkey from a number of reasons. First of all, Turkish Air Force today, its main body consists of more than 230 or 35 F-16 fighters. There is 1 squadron of F-4 Phantoms which had been upgraded by Israel, but these aircraft are nearing the end of their service lives. So F-16 is the backbone of Turkish Air Force, and that fleet is supported by airborne early warning aircraft, drones, and other electronic warfare assets and reconnaissance assets. So Turkey was a partner to the F-35 program, but because of Turkey's acquiring of S-400 air defense system from Russian Federation, it's been removed from the program, and United States withheld the delivery of the F-35s to Turkey. And that decision made Turkey to change its Air Force modernization roadmap, because by the later half of this decade, Turkish Air Force was planned to consist of at least 2 or 3 squadrons of F-35s, backed up with the F-16 fleet, and F-4s would have been retired. And the F-16 fleet needs an upgrade in order to keep its operational capabilities up to date to meet current challenges, starting from radar to advanced avionics and weapon systems. Turkish F-16 fleet had already been in need of upgrade regardless of the F-35 situation.
Which is also
in addition to
for
Greece,
NATO's inoperability.
Exactly. So because Turkish Air Force is also protecting NATO and Turkish skies in the Black Sea region, as well as the Middle East region. In addition to Greece, Egypt has also been spending huge resources to upgrade its Air Force, getting advanced versions of MiG-29s from Russian Federation, Rafales from France, and also Israel has become a user of the F-35 and also operates an advanced fleet of F-15s and F-16s. So as a result, Turkish Air Force is in need of getting advanced capabilities in a short time, and therefore the Milli Muharip Uçak, the National Combat Aircraft Program, which is named as KAN, is of utmost importance, but that will take time. Therefore, in order to fulfill that capability, Turkish Air Force is looking for alternatives, and as we know, the F-16 Viper is the main logical candidate. But then again, that depends on a multiple geopolitical factors, starting with Turkish-American relations. A second alternative could be a Typhoon procurement, but Typhoon is the product of a four-nation consortium, United Kingdom, Germany, Spain, and Italy, and such a decision would require Turkey's relations with all these four countries to be on a certain level. We know that Turkish-United Kingdom relations are positive. Spanish and Italian relations are also positive, but relations with Germany is questionable for the time being. But then again, we will see. But if a solution reacquire qualitative superiority is not found, Turkey might face the risk of losing air superiority in agency and in the Eastern Mediterranean region, which in turn could produce geopolitical or political outcomes which would be extremely unfavorable for Ankara.
We have observed the negative impact of CATSA sanctions in line with Turkish Air Force and other equipment as well. I would like to also talk about the defense side, side of CATSA sanctions, defense sector side. What are the biggest challenges facing the Turkish aerospace industry right now, in accordance with the CATSA sanctions that implemented Turkey's defense industry agency? And how can Turkish stakeholders address the issue?
I can mention two main factors. The first one is that CATSA sanctions target Turkey's Presidency of Defense Industries, SSP, and its four executives, starting from President of Defense Industry himself. So the CATSA sanctions directly affect all programs run by SSP, or all programs that SSP is a shareholder, programs that directly or indirectly incorporate American technology or input. Such programs have been affected, and if Turkey is planning to start a program that, or if SSP plans to start a program that one way or another incorporates American technology or companies, such programs are also affected. This is the first and direct impact of CATSA sanctions to Turkish defense industry. The second one would be an indirect effect, which is American or to some extent European companies maybe reluctance to form strategic long-term partnerships with several Turkish companies or contribute to Turkish programs in fear of repercussions by United States government. But this depends on the course of Turkish-American political relations, which are not at its best. But Turkey, one way or another, needs to develop alternatives, and in times of these, especially since last year, Turkey has shown itself to be capable of at least pursuing very creative ways of alternatives to compensate risks or losses on certain fields.
Mr. Mevlütoğlu, while we have started in our interview, you have pointed out the year 2004. Why did you mention the year 2004 in accordance with the developments in Turkish defense?
Yeah. In May 2004, Turkey's Defense Industry Executive Committee made a meeting and took several major strategic decisions to cancel off-the-shelf procurement programs and to initiate local development programs. The Milgem national ship, the attack helicopter, Anka drone, and Altay main battle tank are all products of that meeting. And after that meeting, Turkish defense industry as a whole and all the bureaucratic mechanisms have put local defense industry and local R&D as top priority to meet Turkish Armed Forces requirements and to establish a local defense industry base. So that year and that meeting symbolizes a radical shift in Turkey's defense industry development roadmap, or an endeavor or quest to develop a local defense industry. We had seen several attempts in past decades before that year, but after 2004, Turkish local defense industry companies being top sources to meet requirements of Turkish armed forces.
Mr. Mevlütoğlu, thank you for your time and this comprehensive analysis. This is the end of our interview. Do you have anything to add?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and it's been a very joyful discussion for me too. So as I can lastly add these comments, for the past 20 or so years, Turkish defense industry has shown a remarkable success and increasing pace of developments, and combined with political and geopolitical developments, I think that trend will likely continue, and it will be a very interesting topic for foreign and local observers as well as us industry professionals.
I totally agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you.